Hi, welcome to my guitar tutorial talking about improvising with E minor pentatonic, entire fretboard, fingerboard, and 5 positions. I also threw in the opening presentation. I also threw in the diagonal patterns, which I'll talk about that. So the idea behind this is going to be related back to the previous jam track that I uploaded. It's a E5, G5, A5, E5, and I thought, well, there's the jam track, and I thought I would explain to you some different concepts of how to play over this. Give a little shout out to Guthrie Trapp and Brett Papa. They have a new course out, and I was watching that, and there was something that Guthrie Trapp said, something like, it's not cheating to play simply, or something to that regards. So I just decided to do something like this using some simple ideas, and then use that for improvising, and hopefully you'll see something that you like, or hear something. I'll look below the description of the video. I'll include all the different patterns that I use today. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm just playing up and down on one string. This is a concept. Think about the Advancing Guitarist, Mick Goodrick. He talks a lot about that, and I've spent a lot of time, playing up and down on one string. Satriani talks about this. So the progression is E, D, 4, G5, A5, and then E5. So I'm going up the pentatonic scale, and then I'm starting from the E note, and then I'm starting from the G note. And then I'm starting from the A note, and then just doing some kind of fill at the end there. So let's just listen to that one time with on the track. E, G, A. So that's the first example, and then I'll do the second example. So here I'm starting on another note. So this is the B note, which is in the E5, and then for the G5 I'm starting on the D note, and then for the A5 I'm starting on the E note, which is the fifth of the A5. And then just doing a slide up to the B note, kind of like I'm kind of looking at that as the kind of part of the minor pentatonic. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. And so the B note, D note, E note, it's just a couple examples. I'll go ahead. I'm going to skip the G for right now. I'm just going to go to this to the D and A string. So I start. So for the E chord, I start on the E, and I start on the G note, and then I start on the A note, and I think I did something out of the blues box. So I'll listen to that example. So once again, I'm doing a very simple idea, based off of the progression. Yeah, I'll go to here. G. And the track ran out, and so then you can do the same thing here. Same thing on the low low E and the high E. So I'm gonna, just for giggles, I'm gonna switch pickups here. So G, A, okay. I'm also running through the DiceWorks Fuzz. So I recently pulled that out of my storage, and I'm kind of having some fun with that. So right now I have it on the position 2, so it's just kind of overdriving the Blackheart. The Blackheart actually I have turned all the way up, so 1 watt amp Blackheart, and volume is on 10. So then I have the fuzz volume and fuzz on about 9 o'clock, and then I have the tone straight up and down. Let's listen to that. So that's just playing up and down on one string. So you can have a lot of fun with that. So I'm a big fan of throwing in those pedal tones. You know, the E and the B work really well. The G and the D are the third and the flat 7 of the E minor, and then the A is the 4. So they don't work maybe quite as well, but you can kind of make them work. Okay. So the next thing I did is I use these 2 diagonal sliding patterns, and I'll have diagrams of those. So the first one here, I'm just going to go through this briefly. G-A-B, D-E, G-A-B, D-E, G-A-B, D-E. Backward. So I use that one a couple of times, and then I use this one here, starting from D-E, G-A-B, D-E, G-A-B, D-E, G-A-B. Backward. All right, so there I was just free-forming it. I wasn't really thinking very much about what I was doing there. I was just kind of playing around with that. So this is a good bend right here, this A up to B. And then there's all different kind of classic rock sounds that you hear, like people go, like Richie Blackmore in Smoke on the Water, or you get a pinch harmonic. Again, I think I also did this leg. That's just a great sounding blues leg. Right, and then I also did some things with like the chromatic fill-ins. So I've done different videos on that. So basically, when you're looking at these patterns, you can fill in just every 3 notes. Backwards. All right, so I'll just do like a quick improv with that. Just do these. And just 1 2 3 1 2 3. And you can do a lot of really interesting fast runs with that. I'll go through maybe a couple of times and just kind of see what happens. See how that works. Okay, and then I also use this pattern here. So you have, that's a good bend there, obviously here. Okay, so I don't remember exactly what I did there. All right, so there's that the same lick here. So B to D can also be played here. So I would encourage you to find, the same notes in different places. So it's a little brighter there than here. And then you can also put in those chromatics. Backwards. Right, and then I also think it's interesting when you're going ascending, use descending fragments. So I'm going to change my pickup here. And then ascending, fragments descending. Okay, so I'll do a couple runs through with that using. Maybe I'll start off with that, and then I'll do some of these chromatic fill-ins. Okay, so the other thing I kind of hinted at a little bit, I didn't really emphasize it too much, but on that E chord, because it's an E5, you can kind of tease up to the major sound. Yeah, so you can almost do like almost like a Mixolydian kind of sound. Yeah, so maybe I'll just do that. So what I'm going to do, I didn't do this in the opening. I'm just going to play E Mixolydian only on the E chords, and then on the G and the A, I'll play pentatonic and see what that sounds like. So Satriani talks about this, about kind of mixing modes. I think he calls it like the tri-axis system, where you can kind of use like Mixolydian, and also Dorian would work really well too. So I might use E Dorian for my ending improvisation. You can kind of hear how that sounds. So E5, G5, and A5. You can kind of think of those as different pieces of E Dorian. And I guess also E Phrygian would probably work pretty well too. I didn't really do that, but that let me just kind of I'm just gonna wing it here. I didn't really think about this till right now, so I'm gonna play E Phrygian over the whole E G A progression and just kind of see what happens. So that theoretically should work. That's 3, 5, and 6 from the key of C, which would be E Phrygian. Maybe not the best choice, but you can probably throw that in and mix it up with the, pentatonic, Phrygian, Dorian, Mixolydian, and kind of mix them all together. Okay, so that's a couple of things so you got up and down on the individual strings, and then some of these diagonal patterns. Now I'm going to go to open position. So. All right, so all I was really trying to do there was just trying to come up with some simple riff ideas on the E and G. And then when it got to the A chord, I was kind of trying to emphasize that A note. So once again, that wasn't quite as thought out as the very first lick I did, where I was just climbing up E, G, A on each string. So right, so you can use this jam track to kind of practice your 5 positions of the pentatonics. All right, so next one. And then, and so on. So maybe what I'll do here is I'll just maybe play out of each position a little bit and see if I can come up with something that you will find interesting. That's kind of a fun thing to do. Funny story. Back in the day, I guess I was listening to a lot of Hendrix and Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, whatever. And I would sit around and I would just do hammer pull, and I would just do it for a really long time until my hands, my fingers start to burn. Okay, next position here. I think the thing I did in my opening, I did that kind of Stevie Ray Vaughan thing. So I'm D up to E, and then adding that E note, and then you can do the same thing here, A up to B. Right, and there's that blues note there. Okay, maybe I'll do a couple things there with those adding that open string. Okay, now in the next position, I was just, once again, I was just trying to go for kind of simple melodic riffs. And then, for the most part, going between the E and the G, since they're both kind of minor pentatonic, minor major pentatonic, I was trying to do something that kind of fit both chords. All right, so maybe I'll mess with that riff a little bit. Couple classic sounds that bend. That's you hear that in a lot of people's playing. So okay, right. That's just another example of taking a bend and doing some kind of rhythmic thing with. Or what's the Joe Wall? In Funk 49, he does a lick like that. I don't know that lick off the top of my head. Okay, next position. Yeah, so to my mind, you just have to, back in my old teaching days, I would just, encourage people to just put a track on, blues, whatever you want to do, and just look at each position and just try to find the best licks. Yeah, so don't just play blues box, although blues box is great. Try to find... That's kind of a nice one. Let's try that over the jam track. So I did that kind of classic move. A lot of people do that. Okay, I'll do a couple more positions before I start ending this off. So then this one here. Yeah, so you have that kind of Layla lick in the... So that's kind of fun sometimes if you're doing a little solo. Kind of throw that in just for giggles to see if anybody knows it. Okay. And then here, you have these kind of... Yeah, that's kind of like a blues kind of sound that you might hear like Page play something like that. Maybe I'll start off with the Layla lick and then maybe do a little bit with these chromatic fill-ins here. Okay, and then you have the familiar blues box. I'll just talk briefly about back in the day. What was that book I had? I think it was called Improvising Rock Guitar by Pat Thrall. And I remember, I've told this story before. I got it at like back in the music stores, like you go to the record store and you buy Black Sabbath or Grand Funk Railroad or some of the things that I got, Jesus Christ Superstar or whatever you go get whatever the coolest album of the time was, and they had some music there. And I remember seeing this Improvising Rock Guitar book. So I brought this home with me. I'd been playing for like 2 or 3 years. And I just sat there and did these bends like over and over again. And the next day, my fingers were so sore from practicing these different bends that they showed you in the book. I think there's a picture of Hendrix on the cover of that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Improvising Rock Guitar is a great book. It had some of you old guys will remember this, and gals. They had those kind of vinyl, like a piece of vinyl, and it had a record in it, and it was just like this square piece of vinyl, and you would put it on your record player, and that was the demo. There was no DVD or CDs or downloads or anything like that. So let me just talk briefly about some of the basic cliches that you would play. So the one is bending A up to B, right, or right, and then bending D up to E, and then bending G up to A. All right, so there's a lot that you could do. So bend, next note, and then right, and then you have the unison bends, bend D up to E, and then B up to A, or A up to B. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'll do like a playthrough. I'll do the unison bend, and I'll just kind of work up and down the scale, and then I'll do unison bend there also. Let me just check my tuning quickly here. Okay, unison bend first string, unison bend second string. Sounds a little bit like the end of Stairway. Okay, so a couple more cliches. Okay, then you have this when you're bending here, B, E. Right, there's a... Yeah, so that's a good one. A lot of... Okay, or bend. And then this bend here, D up to E. Right, everybody uses that sound. And then a little bend, vibrato. Then, oh yeah, this one here. So A up to B, and then adding that note. Right, and I think they also had that double note lick that I like to do in this book I'm talking about. So you have double note here, and then here, A to C sharp, and then I think in the book they call that a smear. So maybe some of your old timers will remember that name's smear. All right, so that's kind of pointing us in Dorian. All right, so maybe I'll do some smears here. And then I'll also throw in some Dorian. Okay, that was kind of my ending improvisation there with a little E Dorian. Okay, we'll have fun with this E track. I'll make some notes below so you can kind of navigate through all these different things that I'm talking about with the different cliches and the different scales. And you can check out my jam track. I'll put a link below for that. Okay, thanks for listening and watching.